Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So I saw this article on the Griot, and I want to take some time to read a few excerpts from this article, and then I want to share my thoughts with you all about this particular article. Now, I was on Facebook and I came across this article. It's on the Griot, and the article is entitled "Ryan on His Divorce. You Can't Marry Another Race and Not Want to Marry Their Culture." I will post a link to this particular article in the description box so that you all can check it out and read the article for yourself. But in this article, it talks about how him and a co-star, Clara, got married on this show called Married at First Sight. And basically, this show involves complete strangers marrying one another. They meet each other for the very first time at the altar, and they actually get married after not knowing anything about one another. So this particular couple got married. The man, Ryan, is black, and his ex-wife now was a white woman. And so in this article, it talks about the issues that he faced. He posted this lengthy statement on Instagram, and I'm not going to read from the statement. You can read it for yourself. I'm just going to highlight some of the points that this article raises. In this lengthy statement, he says, "You can't truly be open to marrying another race and not want to marry their culture, or at least at the minimum understand it. Black experience and Black culture are not monolithic and are ever evolving and ever changing with time." Then he goes on to complain about this. He says, "What I can say is walking into a family gathering and not speaking to anyone and scrolling through your phone will never fly, and declining food outside of a food allergy or avoidance because you don't like the way it looked doesn't help either." And this article goes on to say that this black guy, Ryan, reportedly told the show's producers that he only wanted to date white women, and went on to write, he went on to write this in this particular statement: by marrying into, hold on one second. He went on to say this: by marrying into a different race, culture, you inherently adopt parts of their identity, and most importantly, your kids 100% will, and your children will need you to help them navigate it. And then he went on to say this: it's possible all too often to not be racist while still being completely unaware, and choosing not to understand and educate yourself is a red flag. And then it goes on to talk about what people on social media had to say about this. And I just want to share some of my thoughts. The first thing I'll say is this. This is a prime example why it's better to marry within your own race, within your own people. It's better for a black man to be with a black woman, and it's better for a black woman to be with a black man, because that way you don't have to deal with somebody not understanding your culture or embracing your culture. Instead of forcing somebody outside of your culture to embrace your culture, why not just marry somebody within your culture? Why not marry and be in relationships with somebody that is a black person? Why not be with a black woman? Instead of trying to get somebody or force somebody to understand your culture when your culture is completely different from theirs. Why try to force somebody to accept you, especially in this case when you have a black man that doesn't even accept his own woman. As this article pointed out, this man told producers reportedly that he only wanted to date white women. And this article goes on to talk about how this guy grew up among white people. He dated primarily white women growing up and stuff like that. So that raises another question. What black culture are you really talking about when you're talking about this woman wasn't embracing your black culture? If you have been assimilated and you primarily associate with white people, for the most part, that particular black individual doesn't really have a black culture. So what is he complaining about? And then it's like, why do you have the audacity to complain about somebody not accepting you and your culture when you don't even accept your own culture and you don't even accept your own women? But yet you want to cry about this white woman not accepting your culture when you're telling producers that you only want to be with white women. How does that make any kind of sense at all? The other thing is that I'll say is this, like, there is nothing racist about somebody wanting to be with their own, with someone preferring their own race when it comes to dating and marriage. There's nothing racist about that. That is natural selection. If you love yourself and you appreciate yourself and you have great respect for your people and your culture, you're going to be with your people and your culture. You're not going to go outside of yourself, go all out of your way to be with something other than yourself if you love yourself. So that in and of itself is not racism. And it's like, why do we always find ourselves like begging somebody to embrace us and to accept us when we don't even have the audacity to embrace our own selves? And this speaks to this sick pathology that exists between, among some of our people, that you are going out of their way to basically worship white people and whiteness while they, disrespect for their own and while they have this inferiority complex when it comes to their own. And the other thing that I want to talk about is just like this reality show where these people meet while they're getting married, like they haven't met each other. They haven't had a chance to get to know one another. I mean, just that concept alone is a recipe for disaster. We know that even after someone knows a person, they still may get a divorce. But when you're in a situation where you're marrying someone that you don't even know at all, you don't know what their values are, you don't know what kind of person they are, you don't know their personality, you don't know their little quirks and all that kind of stuff, and you're going to marry them, that's a recipe for disaster. That's inherently, going to lead to a situation more likely than not where you end up getting a divorce. So nobody should be surprised that these people got a divorce. And frankly, I think that as many people have said, that that's just an excuse. This whole race dynamic is just an excuse for a failed relationship, especially given the fact that this is a guy who dated all these white women. It's not really about her, quote unquote, embracing his black culture, a culture that he doesn't even embrace. So yeah, those are my thoughts about this. Tell me what you all think. It's just a shame that we have so many of these examples, like where you had these black men who essentially think their salvation lies in the arms of white women. And then you have black women who think that their salvation lies in the arms of some white man. When we need to realize that we are our own salvation, we need to be together as one community, black men with black women. So tell me what you all think. Please rate, comment, subscribe, like the video, share the video, hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I post new content on here. Peace and blessings. And before I go, I want to let people know that my art exhibit, Revolution on Canvas, is available online for you to view. If you are interested, please email me at ansonasaka@yahoo.com. That's ANSONASAKA@yahoo.com. Peace and blessings. Have a happy New Year.